I'm saying, man, you guys don't, you guys can't compete with my dance moves, bro. Welcome to chess, ladies and gentlemen. You know, so we have the U.S. Championships going on right now. And so this is round 10. And this is Levon Aronian versus Wesley. So we're going to see who is Malakas right now. Or strong, if you don't speak Tagalog. Yeah, so I'm happy I was able to get this second video done. It's almost never the case that I can get 2 videos in one day. So congratulations to me. And those of you out there that like watching my videos, I appreciate it very much. All my people coming from the Philippines, I will say mabuhay to you. Kamusta na aking makaibigan. It is 6:21 in the morning, so you know, magandang umaga to all of my people getting up in the morning. Magandang hapon if you see this in the afternoon. Anybody who is coming from Armenia, I would say Vogjuven, Inch Beses, and merci for coming by and taking a look at my stuff real quick. Thank you to anybody else around the world. But if you guys are ready to go, let's take a look, see what we got for this game, man. So we got the move C4. We got E5, and we start off with the English opening. And, I mean, you have a lot of different options when it comes to playing against this as black. But definitely, by far, the best possible move you can make is E5. It does a few things, just like it does when you open E4 as white. You know, you got the bishop, you got the queen coming out. Of course, you don't want to just swing the bishop here immediately because it's wasting some tempi, right? But you know, we do get the center, you know, as much as possible. So it is just about the best opening move you can make. And then so we do have the move knight to C3. We got knight to F6. So we kind of get into a 2 knights variation of the English. And then after knight to F3, knight to C6, we do have a 4 knights. And then E4 makes it the Nimzowitsch of the 4 knights. So as you guys can see, obviously we got 4 knights perfectly positioned in the center of the board, influencing all kinds of squares in the center. These 4 to be exact. So we're good to go. And then we do see the move bishop to B4. And this is really just trying to grab some pawns. Or a pawn. You know, if we can successfully get rid of this knight without any resistance from white, then we are just winning a pawn for completely free. This is not a Berlin type situation, so you are not going to get this pawn back. You know, you are not developed quick enough for that. So we do see the move D3, just defending the pawns that we have on the board. We got the move D6, we got bishop to E2, and then bishop comes to G4. We're not worried about it, so we go ahead and castle, but we do see bishop taking F3. Bishop taking F3, and even though it might look kind of strange to some people, like, why did this bishop get given up for a knight? Like, it doesn't even seem like there's a good reason. Well, the thing about it is, I mean, a really, really juicy square for black is actually this D4 square. So giving up that bishop right here just allows this knight to kind of plop down into D4 without much resistance. So we do see the move a bishop back to C5, and then king goes to H1. You know, it's a logical move. I mean, this bishop is pretty monstrous down this diagonal, so the king's just like getting out the way. That way, at some point, we could push this f-pawn wherever we want to go. So we do see the move A5, and this is the novelty of the game. You kind of have A3 and B4 that you have to set up to get, you know, the successful push of these pieces out of the way. So, I mean, you don't have to play A5 right here, but it's just something that Wesley so said, bro, I'm just going to throw A5 out there just because. Why not? And then we do see the move queen going over to E1. You know, we are just making sure that this pawn is definitely, you know, protected. And also, we are anticipating, like I said before, a knight to D4 coming. So if knight comes to D4, the bishop can come back, and that is exactly what we actually see. So this move was made just in time. We do see knight to D4, and then the bishop comes down to D1. And we have just preserved this bishop. You know, we kind of want both of these bishops. I mean, the position could get kind of open at some point, so we kind of want these bishops around. And also, we definitely don't want to leave it on F3, because if the knight captures here, pawn captures. And I mean, yeah, you capture towards the center, but you have a really ugly pawn chain. So, and you lost the bishop, so we don't want to go through none of that. So we do see bishop down to D1. So there is no damage here. So we do see the knight coming up to E6. We see the move G3. You know, we were thinking as black, we're trying to redirect this knight to somewhere a little bit more beneficial. And I mean, you know, G2 is actually kind of weak right now. Just the king defends it. So, I mean, if we can get a knight down into F4, maybe swing a queen over here somewhere, you know, we could put a little pressure on white. So we do see the move G3, kicking all that out the way. You know, we do see the move H5. And so black is trying to grab a hook. you know, this rook is opposite this king at the moment. So if you can get this pawn down and start to kind of rip some things open, you know, you can get a little something going on. You can at least have a maximized H file that you can work with. So we do see the move H4. We're trying to keep things as closed as possible. G5 isn't completely possible here. You'd have to prepare that with a rook going over to G8. We do see the move C6, and it has like a pretty, you know, similar, you know, desire as far as when you hit C3 because it is cutting off these two squares. So if the knight wanted to try to jump up here, you can't do that at the moment. So we're good to go. We do see the king going over to G2. We see bishop down to D4. We see knight down to E2. And then the bishop does come back to C5. And we have reached a point in the game that if you do want to pause the video and see what move white can play in this position, go ahead and do so. All right, so that was kind of a trick question. There's not just one single move. There's probably 5 or 6 legitimate moves. So it's almost like you could play anything. Just to give you an idea of what some of the possibilities and ideas of the position are, bishop definitely can't come to B4, especially if the queen comes over here. You know, we're putting some pressure on here, but then we're just simply attacking this queen. So that's a possibility. So in light of that, you know, you could see the move A3 coming. That could definitely be something you can do as white. You can also move bishop to D2, just preventing that completely because, you know, of course, it's just grabbing, you know, a pawn after bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, and we're good to go. And we're hitting this pawn. So, you know, black doesn't even want to do that. You do also have the ability. You have a pawn break in the position. You actually have the move F4. Now, that was definitely something that was possible as well. As white, you know, just trying to get the position open, trying to maximize this rook. You know, this is still a, you know, pretty under-defended and weak pawn. So, you know, this can be definitely something. There is also a rook over to B1. Pushing A3 and then pushing B4, you know, it definitely gives you some oomph on this side. You know, if you can manage to do this right here, then you do have a lot of firepower, you know, down this B file, trying to maximize that rook. So, you know, these are all different possibilities that you could have employed in this particular position. But going back to what we had in the game, there was also another move that you can do, and it was actually just repeat position. Knight going up to C3. And allowing the bishop to go back to D4, which is what we actually see in the game. So all the other things I mentioned were literally just like other possibilities that you can see as white, just so that you can kind of keep fighting on. But we do see the move knight to C3. We got bishop back down to D4. We got knight back down to E2. Bishop goes back to C5. And then we do see the knight going back to C3. And it is in this position that the players have drawn by threefold repetition. So, not the most exciting game. I mean, the fact is there wasn't really a lot that you could do in this position, but I mean, I kind of feel like, you know, I don't know, maybe both players are kind of, you know, pooped out by this point. You know, they don't really feel like going on. I mean, I don't know how I'd feel, but personally, I think I would have tried a different move instead of repeating. Like I said, one of the moves that I did mention, you know, just so that way, I mean, you're not repeating and you're at least trying to win the game. So I don't know, maybe both players are tired, but I mean, there have been quite a few draws in this, you know, in this U.S. championships. So it's not the most fighting rounds that we've been seeing. So anyway, that is that. Like I said, we got to this point here, and that is a draw by threefold repetition. So that does end the game. So that is round 10 for Wesley So and Levon Aronian. So I guess they're both, you know, equally malakas. So yes, I appreciate you guys very much. Merci, salamat, and I'll see you guys next time.